Banpin urlong ya kajingtmu banpin kala ya kasor Shillong syakata ke smart city Khubor Meghalaya hapok kajinglam khmat jangkatanat information technology and communication haka arpau tarik mentau naiwing arjar arpusau kalala banpoi shikam halor kani kajingtmu hadin bakala pendap ya kajingtei ya kaying trikam kapokongsan banpin ya kikam kijam kabelatip kum ke Shillong Integrated Command and Control Center yakini ke Jakarta rekam kaba enhap apok ketanat Information Technology and Communication lepli Peit ba do Myntri Sorkar ukonrat ke Samla kumukongsan bad hagani ke jingelang layadon ringkat lang usembut Myntri Sorkar ba asnyau bhalang dhar kum usembut kongsan Kiwede ki kenrem kilendan ki blaydon lang hagani ke jingelang ki kentup yo Chief Secretary ba DP Walang ka Director General of Police ke Kong Ida Shisha Nongrang Commissioner and Secretary Ketanat Urban Affairs Vijay Kumar, Commissioner and Secretary Ketanat Information Technology Praveen Bakshi, Deputy Commissioner ke East Khasi Hills District Kong RM Kurba, Director Ketanat Information Technology and Communication uba KL Nongbri, bat urang ba shnong gashnong maupan ujuda walang bat kiwe.
1, 2, 3. What we're trying to do is only when you see it, then you believe that yes, this is what is happening. For example, I remember when this ICCC issue came up, there was a big article somewhere or some post that came up saying that government is spending 200 crores on 300 CCTV cameras. And it was impossible for me to explain that what ICCC was. And I explained it, but people still did not, understand and could not, grasp what it was. But today, when you see this building, you see the entire war room, the control room, the entire data center, the conference hall. You can see the kind of work and investment that has taken place today. And as correctly mentioned by our Chief Secretary, that this is actually the brain of the entire smart city, where the entire information is going to be brought in out here. And what is important to remember regarding the ICCC is that this is a platform, this is a technology, this is an area or a space which can act as a connection to different kind of activities going on in the IT field. So we have this entire access of the application programming interface, which we call the APIs. So the APIs are open, which means that tomorrow if there's a different programming being done in the language which may not be same with what this ICCC works on, we can still integrate it because it is an open API, and that is what makes it very special. As was being mentioned, today we are working with the Forest Department, for example, today to connect the importance between the rainfall, the forest cover, and the springs. And we are having technology today in the Forest Department, which we're going to implement very soon, where we have, first of all, we have mapped all the springs. 7,000 springs in the state have been mapped. We know exactly where the springs are through LIDAR, through drone, through satellite. But now the next step for us is to now place different kind of sensors in each of the springs, which will then send us data, exactly live data on what is the centimeter or millimeter of water that is there, and we'll be able to monitor each spring in the coming years. We hope that we should be able to complete that project in months and the years to come. And once that happens, we actually can monitor the actual water levels that are there in the city, in the state, in different springs. Now, how does that matter? Because obviously when we want to connect that to the Integrated Command and Control Center, so that once we are able to get all of this information, it should be in one place, and the decision makers should be able to see all of this and be able to quickly decide on what has to be done next. So that's the power of IT, and that's how we want to move forward. So the uniqueness of this technology is that this is a platform, and yes, the potential is immense. So tomorrow somebody may say, well, what happened? You started the ICCC, but we still have traffic jam. Of course you will have traffic jam. Opening a ICCC doesn't mean the traffic will stop tomorrow, but it is a mechanism and a technology that can assist us in making the right decision and timely decisions and intervene at the time where we can reduce the traffic. Like rightly said by our Chief Secretary, you imagine, and it's going to happen, by the way, it's not just imagination, it's going to happen. Now we already have the drones. I don't know if you know this or not, but we have a drone center in the Secretariat. So this drone center is independent. Even today we have live feeds coming in from the drones into that particular center for all the traffic. So we have drones flying in the air and we see the traffic that is their information. But that information is not being able to come into a kind of a unified system, and that information is not going to the traffic police in a handheld device so that he or she can make the decision on what has to be done, or the SP traffic what has to be done. That information they're not able to take. But now this particular ICCC will allow the footage of the drone to come into the center in the Secretariat, pass it on to the information here, and from here we will spread it across to the necessary traffic police or the SP, and they will then able to make the decision. So please do remember, technology is only as good as it is applied. Technology in itself means nothing. Technology is only a system or an assistant for us to be able to decide on the right way at the right time to take the right decision. And therefore, having this ICCC doesn't mean traffic will stop tomorrow. Traffic will continue. But question is, how do we use this information now to make the decisions to now reduce the traffic? And that's what really this entire thing is about. So I'm very happy that we've started this ICCC. Now the departments have to work closely with the IT department and this ICCC to then use this technology, allowing their people to make the right decisions at the right time. So I urge the IT department, the urban department, the police department, urban municipal department to sit down, work out the SOPs, work out the protocols and the systems in place so that this technology which is now available can be used for the betterment of Shillong city and actually make it smart. Having said that, the future of what we're going to do out here is again immense. Now I just want to share with you that the ICCC is one part of the entire big canvas that we're trying to create. Our second part, while we do this, is to now create a massive data center out here. So that's going to be our next step. Now why data center? Just to share with you, so this is about 1,500 TB of data can be stored out here in this data center out here. Now that 1,500 TB of data can last for maybe about 1.5 months of all the videos that we record. But beyond that, this data center will not be able to handle more than 1.5 to 2 months of information. So we need to then delete the data. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we need a larger database. Tomorrow I have all the information of all the different waters and the springs coming in. This data center cannot hold that data. And hence, a massive data center is required to be able to bring all of that data into this location and store it. And it's not just about Meghalaya. I am hopeful that in the coming years, Meghalaya should become the data center capital of the region as a whole, and not just northeast but of the entire eastern region, because we have the potential to do it. So this data center is going to come up right out here. When that comes in, all the data, information, programs, all the apps of all the departments will be right here. Number two, we are putting up optical fiber connectivity and last mile connectivity to every block. So this is something I want to share with you. The work is going on right now. Every block, every civil SDO office, every PHC, CHC, and hopefully every government school and college, at the end, maybe not immediately, will be connected through Wi-Fi or optical fiber in the coming days and months. We are already going to finish the first phase, where certain districts will already be on optical fiber, and that again will connect to something like a integrated command and control center right here. So you can imagine all the districts and all are wired with optical fiber all the way to the blocks, and we'll be able to connect that, and that last mile connectivity of the optical network fiber will be done. And I'm hopeful that in the next 12 to 18 months we should be able to complete that project. The third part of this entire plan that we have is then to connect all of this into a large pipe. Now we know that without bandwidth, nothing will happen. So just to share with you, we are working very aggressively from the IT department to ensure that we are able to land what we call the submarine cables right here in Shillong. Now, submarine cables right now are in Chittagong, and they are of course in Tripura through Bangladesh. They are in Chennai, I think in Mumbai, a few of the locations, and it's very difficult to pull that out here. But Chittagong and the lines that we have from down south, we should be able to get the optical fibers to land here in partnership with PGCIL, and that's Power Grid India Corporation Limited. And once that happens, so you can imagine the optical fiber, the submarine cables landing into the integrated command and control center, with the data center being here, with all the optical fibers reaching all the blocks, all the schools, all the hospitals, all the government offices, so that we are in a complete IT network. That is what we want to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years. Now once that happens, these IT parks behind you are no longer going to be just simply IT parks where we're going to be having call centers. These are going to be data assessing, programming places which do data analytics, which use AI, all the necessary other study that has to be done, because data is everything today, you see, and we have a lot of data. The question is, what do we do with the data? What this data can help us with? And that is what AI does for us, and that is what data analytics does for us, and that is what helps us to be able to create what we call predictable models. And these predictable models then allow us to then make decisions in a better manner. So you can imagine that today, if I have got information of all the patient records coming in, and we feed it into the AI and the data analytics, it will then tell me and tell the health department after years, when we have enough data, that, well, the department should send diarrhea medicines to this particular district in this particular month, because our data shows that the history of Meghalaya, the diarrhea or the patient records have been affected by this ailment in this district. And that's the kind of power that we are hopeful that this one office that we are setting up here will ultimately give us the power for doing this entire governance in a much more smarter manner. And that's really when it's not about just smart city, it's about, at the end of the day, a smart governance that we want to do. So